What's up, everyone? Lewis4 back for another review. And before I even start on this review, I would like to say thank you to everybody that watched my NXT Pittsburgh show review. So far, I'm pretty sure it has like 100 and close to 130 views. And that's like the most I've ever had since I've came back and returned to YouTube. I remember back when I was on YouTube, I would do easily 200 views a vid. But it's really nice to just get 100, and I got 100 on that video. So shout out to everybody that watched that video. Now again, I'm sorry for this review being a tad bit late. I've been working, I have stuff to do, and I tried to get this review done by Monday. But the thing is, with the WWE Network, the night of the pay-per-view, it was acting up really bad. My network usually, when I'm watching something live, sometimes on the network, if a spot happens in a match, the network itself might fast forward about a good 3 seconds. So that happens about every every like 10 minutes for me. So like I'll be watching a match and some spot happen and it'll just totally fast forward through it, so I wouldn't be able to see it. So mind you, that's going on, but also this new thing that was happening with my network was going on where something would play. And it would play, say Seth Rollins' entrance or something. So Seth Rollins coming to the ring, and then as soon as he hits the ring, it starts all the way back to the beginning of his entrance and goes through it again. And that happened for me the night of the pay-per-view. This was happening to me continuously. So it took me over 3 hours just to finish the show on Sunday night. And not only that, but because of network difficulties, I had to go and rewatch a couple matches because I missed some things here and there. So I apologize for this being a little bit late. It is what it is. Now I'm just gonna start on the review. But before I even start on the review, I just want to say I've been looking at my overall ratings for the pay-per-views that I've reviewed this year, and to be honest with you, this one kind of falls in line with all the other pay-per-views this year. It seems like WWE is putting out a lot of pay-per-views that are good, but nothing that you should shell out money for. And I think that this pay-per-view is, again, another example of that. Again, there are matches on here that are good, but nothing in particular that I would, pay $40 for. Now, at the same time, everybody has the network by now. You all know the deal. So, get the network. If it's, for the network, this is a good deal, but, for just the show itself, I would recommend watching it, but not recommend paying for it. So the first match is I don't even have the match card out really. The first match of the night was the Money in the Bank ladder match, and I did enjoy this match a lot. Wasn't one of the best Money in the Bank ladder matches, no, but they had some cool spots in there. Some stars in the match. Sheamus, I think it was Sheamus and Kane, but mostly Sheamus looked very strong early in the match. Kofi had some spots. But, the sad thing was, we were all looking forward for Kofi and Neville and maybe even Dolph having some big spots in this match. But those big spots were them just getting jobbed and getting powerbombed through ladders. In the case of Kofi Kingston and Adrian Neville, when it comes to Roman Reigns powerbombing Kofi Kingston onto a ladder, and then powerbombing Neville onto Kofi Kingston while Kofi was laying on the ladder. Eventually, at one point, Roman Reigns jumped on all men. He did like a suicide dive that he always does, which is still impressive. New Day then came out, tried to help Kofi, but then Roman Reigns got back up, and I thought this was going to be the end of the match, and I wasn't too happy with it. Not the fact that Roman was going to win, but just like how predictable it looked. And then the lights went out, came back on. Bray Wyatt was in the middle of the ring and pushed the ladder off. And so we're gonna have a Bray Wyatt Roman Reigns feud. And I haven't seen much of Raw, so I apologize. I can't really speak about what happened with those two on Raw much. But so yeah, I'm fine with that. Those are both the leaders of their respective groups. When the Shield and the Wyatts feud, they had great matches, so it only makes sense. But something I was not happy with, to be honest, was Sheamus winning. Now, people say people would have complained no matter who won the match, but honestly, I disagree. I would have literally rather had anybody win the match other than Sheamus. Here's the reasoning. I think Sheamus is still boring. Yes, his new gimmick, his new found aggression is nice and all, but Sheamus has been the same character ever since he pushed Cena through a table at the first TLC pay-per-view. He gets the shit handed to him all the time. Same thing with this Money in the Bank. And, I'm just tired of it. I'd rather had Kane win this match, to be honest with you. At least it would have been something interesting. I'm not looking forward to another Sheamus WWE title run, to be honest with you. I don't find his character that appealing. I think he's a fine wrestler and all, but, that just doesn't cut it, to be honest with me. So yeah, I'll give that match about 3 3/4 stars. I don't think it was about 4 stars only because there were no holy shit moments. But there were a lot of good spots in the match, don't get me wrong. But, nothing that made me really think, wow, this is easily one of the top Money in the Bank ladder matches ever. It wasn't. I can easily say the ones at the earlier WrestleManias were all better than this. But it was still a fine match. So I'm trying to get the match card, guys. I'm pretty sure the next match was the Divas Championship match between Nikki Bella and Paige, obviously. So this match, honestly, swear to God, guys, I was blown away by this match. People will get upset with the finish and the whole Dusty finish, but honestly, that could have been, into tribute to Dusty Rhodes, who passed away. The ending really didn't piss me off that much. Surprisingly, usually this type of ending really irks me and pisses me off. But on Sunday, I don't know, something about the match itself just weighed the shitty ending, because the match itself I thought was really good. I thought they gave these girls about like 10 minutes. It seemed like, I think, yeah, they gave them about 11 minutes actually, and they put on a show. I thought that this was one of the best Diva matches on the main roster, probably all year, to be honest with you. I can't really think of any other single Divas match that I thought this year was this good on the main roster. The NXT girls are killing shit, obviously, but this match was good. And honestly, I'm gonna give this match 3 stars. They were kicking out of each other's finishers. They were just doing moves that made the Divas Championship seem important. At the beginning of the match, the crowd wasn't that into it, but they definitely got into it towards the end of the match. There were a couple moments when I thought Paige was gonna win, but the ending came when the Bellas just basically did Twin Magic again. But the thing was, when Brie came in and did Twin Magic, she tried to pin Paige. Paige reversed the pin and pinned Brie, and I thought that she was going to win the Divas title because of that. But they actually did something very smart. They let Brie Bella show the ref that it wasn't her, and I love this. She took papers out of her bra to show that she has smaller boobs, and finally the WWE acknowledges that the Bellas are not identical twins anymore, and it's just refreshing that they're not like making us seem, I don't know, they make me feel like I'm really stupid when I look at the Bellas, and obviously these two aren't identical twins in the body anymore. And the fact that they actually used that into the match was phenomenal to me. I'll give this match a solid 3 stars. I really did enjoy this, to be honest with you, and I thought it was one of the best things on the show, regardless of the finish. Next match was Big Show and Ryback for the Intercontinental Championship. Before the match, Miz came out and talked some crap. I didn't really mind it. I think he sat on commentary for the match. The match itself was about 5 minutes. It didn't really go that long. The ending came when The Miz attacked Big Show first, then Ryback. They were both down. I forget what exactly happened, but Ryback and Big Show were both laying on the mat. Miz came in and attacked them both. So Big Show won by DQ. So Ryback keeps the belt. It was really a double DQ, but whatever. Ryback keeps the belt. I'm not really interested in this feud in general. I think the fact that why Big Show has a quarrel with Ryback, I feel, is pointless. He hates Ryback because Ryback calls himself the big guy and he wants the Intercontinental Championship. And then the Miz just inserts, Miz was going to get that Intercontinental Championship. So, I understand Miz having something with Ryback, but, the whole Big Show Ryback thing, I'm really over it, to be honest with you. But that said, though, the little 5-minute thing that they did was fine for what it was. Ryback actually came out swinging, knocked down Big Show in literally 10 seconds or less, got him outside the ring and started just going ham pretty much. So, I thought it was fine for what it was. I really don't want to rate this, but if I had to rate it, I'd probably give it about a solid 1 3/4. It wasn't really a match to me. It was just more of an angle to get, continue this story. But yeah, I'll give it 1 3/4 stars. Next match of the night, probably match of the night, was John Cena versus Kevin Owens again. And I thought that this match was also very good. I also thought that this match was also very good. I wouldn't go and say that it was better than their last match, and the reason why I say that is because if you watch their match at Money in the Bank, they did have 2 botches in the match. The entire first match, I'm not 100% positive there were any botches. But the thing is, both botches in the Money in the Bank match were saved. One came when Kevin Owens was trying to do this. I can't explain it to you on camera, but it was basically a sidewalk slam when he has him behind his back. Cena couldn't wrap his legs around Owens' arm right away, so they had to redo it. And then there was another one when Cena was kind of doing like a sunset flip, Canadian Destroyer looking like move. And again, they messed up at the beginning, but they saved it. Both times, both moves were saved. They weren't botched. They were botched, but they weren't, horribly done wrong. So I'm giving them some credit for that. And obviously, this match, other than those 2 botches, literally this match was perfectly fine. The crowd was it seemed like the crowd might have been more hot towards the end of the match than they were for the first match. I remember at one point, John Cena couldn't put Kevin Owens away, and he just stands up, and literally the entire crowd just gives him gives the whole match a standing ovation right before the ending of the match, which I thought was cool, a cool little moment. Another cool thing that happened was Kevin Owens doing the 5-knuckle shuffle on John Cena. As you saw in my NXT review, I saw Kevin Owens, I guess he was practicing doing the 5-knuckle shuffle throughout the NXT tour that they just had. So when he actually got the chance to hit it on John Cena, he would do it correctly. Which, honestly, he did it better at the NXT show that I was at. When he was doing the shoulder tackles in the match, he had trouble getting up for one of them, to be honest with you. It looked a little awkward. It looked like he was blown out a little bit at that point of the match. But literally, all these little things are just little things I have to find and nitpick on this match. Again, this match was as good as their last match, but it's really hard for me to say if it's better or not. I have to watch both back. But right now, I'm just gonna give this one a solid 4 stars. I feel like I have to rate it lower than the other match, only because the other match, things seem better the first time you view them, and the first match was really special with Kevin Owens winning. And also, I just didn't like the fact that John Cena won in this match. I thought that Kevin Owens should have went over clean again. But good old WWE and the whole trading wins thing, because that works for everybody. So yeah, that happened. But yeah, I'll give that match 4 stars. John Cena wins again. After the match, Kevin Owens attacked John Cena after Cena was going for a handshake. Literally makes Cena look like the dumbest person ever. So yeah, Cena looks stupid as hell after he tried to give Owens a handshake. And the whole Kevin Owens thing with MGK on Raw was also very interesting. So Kevin Owens has 20 different feuds to go in right now. He has Samoa Joe, Finn Balor, John Cena, Sami Zayn, and now MGK. So he can go in many different directions with the character right now. So shit's looking good for Kevin Owens right now. The next match of the night was the Primetime Players versus Big E and Xavier Woods of the New Day. Obviously, Kofi wasn't competing. This is for the WWE Tag Team Championship. Now, obviously, the Primetime Players won the match. And to be honest with you, I'm just pissed off at a bunch of different things with this match. First off, I'm pissed that the New Day lost the belts. I thought that they shouldn't have lost the belts there. They're just starting to get hot. Or they are hot right now, and I felt like, keeping the belts, keep the momentum going. Now them taking the belts off of them, I really, really am looking to see if New Day can keep the heat that they have, because for some reason I just have a good feeling that the New Day is going to be over soon. And it's been glorious. It's been a glorious couple months that they've been together, and I really don't want the stable to break up anytime soon. And then secondly, I'm also upset about this match just because how short it was and how underwhelming this match was. And then the Primetime Players win their first tag team championships in such an underwhelming fashion. You know, I'm pretty sure Darren Young was getting worked over for the all of 5 minutes that this match was. Gets the hot tag to Titus. Titus just cleans house after he gets the hot tag, pins Xavier, and that's it. And you know, the reason why I'm upset about this is not that they won the titles. I feel like the Primetime Players are well overdue a tag team title run, to be honest with you. They were together originally. They came back. They're owed a championship run. You know, I feel like for some weird reason in my head, it's like WWE kind of righting a wrong with Crime Time, with you know, never giving Crime Time the tag belt, so they gave them to the Primetime Players here. But then also, just like there was no big story, you know, there was 2 weeks of build to this match, and you know, to have your first big championship with no build and a shitty 5-minute match, you know, I'm pretty sure the Primetime Players are probably going to be one of the most underwhelming tag team champions in recent history. And it's not the Titus O'Neil and Darren Young are awful competitors. They're not whatsoever. It's just the way that they've been booked. It's the way that the company just pushes them out of nowhere. They just gave them the belts, and you know, it's just I can guarantee that you know, they're just going to be an underwhelming tag team. Just by the way that the company, you know, gave them the belts. It seemed like they just gave them the belts just because Titus won that award, and you're just like, just give them the belts, just to shut Titus and Batista up. So that was what it was. Honestly, I'm gonna give that match like 2 stars. To be honest with you, it was another 5-minute match, and you know, I wasn't interested in it. It was underwhelming a little bit for me personally. Finally, the main event of the evening was Seth Rollins versus Dean Ambrose in a ladder match for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. This match was interesting for a lot of different reasons. But first of which is just because they used the ladder, but they really tried to not focus too much on using the ladders for spots. This match is like the first ever time I've ever remember seeing a ladder match when, you know, psychology, like really good in-ring psychology was involved, where the competitors were going everywhere. You know, these guys weren't just in the ring and outside the ring, you know, for this match. They were inside the crowd. They were, you know, on the ramp. They were everywhere in this match, to be honest with you. And it kind of surprised me, you know, in a ladder match, when someone's trying to get the belt, you know, above the ring, having these guys go pretty much everywhere around their arena was new and refreshing. Also, what was refreshing was this match was really long, actually. It was 35 minutes long. And I believe that's just because the beginning of the match had Seth Rollins, well, basically the entire match, Seth Rollins was working on Dean Ambrose's, I believe, left knee or left leg, pretty much, so he couldn't climb the ladder. You know, it made for a nice story. But the thing that just pissed me off about the match, now I'm going to have to go into the cons. You know, first, before I even say the cons, I always say Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins, no matter what, when these guys come together for a match, no matter what the storyline is, if the storyline's shitty, if the build-up was shitty, it doesn't matter. When these two get in the ring together, they put on, like, good fucking matches, great fucking matches. And they did here. But the thing that just irked me was the ending to this match. Seth Rollins hits a pedigree. I'm pretty sure he hits a pedigree on Dean Ambrose. Let me back up a little bit. Throughout the whole match, Seth Rollins was trying to put Dean Ambrose out of his misery and climb the ladder. He wasn't like just climb the ladder without knowing if Dean was out or not. He tried to put Dean Ambrose out and then climb the ladder. But every time he put Dean Ambrose out and tried to start climbing the ladder, Dean Ambrose would revive himself, so Seth would have to start over. So that pretty much went on the entire match. No matter what Dean Ambrose tried to do, Seth Rollins was pretty much just whooping his ass, whooping on that left leg of his. And, you know, but the thing was, Seth Rollins finally got like a pedigree, I believe, on Dean Ambrose. Then he starts like hitting him. He starts like piling chairs and ladders on top of him to bury him. And he was outside the ring. And like Seth Rollins just hit like another devastating move on him before he hit the pedigree on him. And then Seth is climbing the ladder, and then Dean just gets back up and just starts climbing it again. And you know, I could believe certain things, but like the last time that Dean Ambrose had to climb up the ladder, it didn't come off as believable. Seth Rollins fucking ended the guy. He should have been out. Seth should have easily just been able to climb up and grab it, but they let Dean Ambrose, climb up the ladder. And another reason why that pisses me off was because the ending just saw Seth won anyway, but they just had to make Dean Ambrose look a little bit stronger by having them both fall with the belt at the same time. But when they hit the mat, Seth Rollins pulled it away from Dean. And I just thought that it was stupid. I honestly thought that if they ended the match with Seth Rollins climbing up and just grabbing it by himself after he had done all that damage to Dean Ambrose, I don't think it would have really made Dean Ambrose look that bad. He would have gotten hit, but with that at that point with like I forget what move it was, but it was some sick move, a pedigree, and then just got bombarded by steel chairs and ladders, and he somehow gets up. So I think it really makes Seth Rollins look like a chump. He literally couldn't. He barely won the championship without the authority, and it was just that pissed me off a little bit, as they're making Seth Rollins really just look like a total bitch. Even though he did get the job done by himself, Triple H congratulated him after the match. And obviously this is leading to Seth Rollins versus Brock Lesnar at Battleground. So, that match I'm looking very much to. But for the ladder match, I'll honestly probably give that about 3.5 stars. I want to give it 3 3/4. But, actually I will. I'll give it 3 3/4. I guess it was as good as the Money in the Bank ladder match, actually. Just longer and, more methodical, to be honest with you. But again, guys, overall in the show itself, I'm going to give it a 6.5 out of 10. I guess it was better than Elimination Chamber, and it was better than Extreme Rules, and I guess it was better than Payback. But, their pay-per-views as of late have just been so. There are a couple good matches, but, nothing I would shell out $40 for, to be honest with you guys. But obviously, guys, John Cena versus Kevin Owens 2 was the best match of the card, easily. The tag team title match and the Big Show Ryback match were easily the worst. The Divas match impressed me, and the World Heavyweight title was good. It was a good show. I just wish that certain things just happened a different way. But yeah, that's my Money in the Bank 2015 review, guys. Battleground is in like a month. I'm pretty sure it's like July 19th, so that's about a month from now. So I'm going to have to come up with some content of my own to feature in these videos until then. But yeah, guys, until whenever my next video is, whenever that is, I will see you guys. Have a good one.